Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Eugene. Tonight we're going to talk about nihilism with Spoogs and shit. Hello, Spoogs.
Hello.
Welcome, people. Welcome, Chad. Welcome, everyone, to Bolshevik Bistro, a small cafe in the middle of a revolution. As I said, my name is Eugene, and this is our interview streams that we do every week. Today is a bit early, as we do it. We usually do it in Australian time in the middle of the night, but because we talk with Australian dude Spoogs, we moved it a bit earlier. Sorry, Americans get the bullet too. Yanks, go away.
Fuck off, Yanks.
So Spooks, how's it going?
It's going good.
So
it's going pretty good.
Tonight we are here to talk about nihilism and what it's all about. But first, can you please tell the people? By the way, Spooks has an extremely fun YouTube channel where he does tons of fun shit posting, and he also has a funny Twitter where he posts. So all of those links are in the description. Please follow him. So Spooks, tell me, how do you describe yourself politically? Because you have a Sam Hyde and fucking Nazball Sterner on your avatar.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock on. No, not. But
no, seriously.
Although it, rumor might have it that I actually don't have a political ideology. Oh, that is wrong. Actually, it's sort of right. It's more of a tendency, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I would describe myself as like an egoist anarcho-nihilist. That's like the best way I can describe it.
Okay, and we will dissect this definition in today's episode. So let's first let's address the elephant in the room and the thing that we must talk about: the Depression book.
Oh yeah, I love that book.
It is a fascinating book, and it's about, by the way, fucking content warning, Holocaust, genocide, fucking very spooky shit is coming in this episode. So if you don't like this sort of stuff, be aware. Click away now. Rather violent, rather depressing, and extremely triggering. So
viewer discretion is very much advised.
Please. Exactly. So, Spooks, tell me about the book, how Dip is referring to it in the chat right now.
Of course he is.
How does it called? What's the name of it?
Okay, so the Depression book is just a fun little nickname I gave to the a book. It's called Blessed is the Flame, an introductory to concentration camp resistance and anarcho-nihilism by some guy. His name I can't pronounce because I'm horrible at pronouncing names. But it's essentially a introductory to anarcho-nihilism, and it uses concentration camp resistance to kind of intertwine the two.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds a bit odd, but it works quite well. I'd highly recommend anyone watching this to go out and read it. I'm sure you can find a PDF somewhere.
Yeah, it's really good. If people will ask me, I can link it if you message me, because I think I have it laying around, and Spooks has it laying around, so feel free to message us.
Yeah, I have it around.
Yeah. So please, can you tell about the book and how can you connect a political ideology with resistance during Holocaust? All
right. Well, off the bat, I wouldn't exactly call it anarcho-nihilism a ideology. I'd call it a tendency. I think that better describes it. The two kind of link because basically the anarcho-nihilist position is that we are all fucked, and the only way to the point is to do stuff now because we're just fucked. So we might as well act now, and that's kind of what happened with the concentration camp resistance. The people in those camps had, there was no time to think about the future. It was or what's it going to be like after we escape or whatever, because that was completely useless to them, and that and those two like kind of weaving together quite nicely, really.
Yeah, I get it. Oh, I can hear
Yeah.
a baby in the background.
No, that's my cat. But I'm gonna let him out.
Okay. Yeah, and by the way, Dib Dab in the chat is saying to check out his video on his channel. I recommend
check that out.
Yeah, Dib Dab the Regrettable. It's really good. I will link it after the thing if you remind me, Dib Dab, and you can find the link in the description. And yeah, I will just link the book in the description as well after the stream. So if you'll watch,
also, you can also I'll send you something. There's also a link to a physical version if you're into that. I'm not sure how good the shipping is because I remember it not being able to ship to Australia. But if you're Yank, it will ship to you.
Okay, this is great because I know there are a bunch of people who really like it's a really Western thing. Like, why the fuck? Like, I understand. Let me explain. Like, Soviet Union was the most well-read country in the world in terms of how much books were read by the population, right? And books were a big fucking cultural. It's still a big fucking cultural thing in post-Soviet era. It's really great. It's really good. But me as a young person in 2000s, I'm like, where do you have money to buy new books? Like, what the fuck?
I can't afford this shit.
I can't afford this shit. Like, how can you spend like $15 on a fucking book? I'm like, no, I will download it. I will pirate that shit. Fuck off. Like, you know, you know how school is a time when you'll learn, you know, not only in school per se during the studies, but this is where you experience life, you know. A very important part of this experience in life thing for Belarusian and for Slavic people in general is to learning how to pirate shit from the internet. It's like, it's normal. Because a guy has a game and you play, and he was like, hey, I like this game and I'm playing this game, and oh, I can't give you a DVD for some reason, you know, or I can't give you USB with a game. I'm like, okay, I'll go into pirate that, and you go and you learn how to pirate, and this is just natural for us. So fucking agorist, fucking anarchism for the win.
Illegalist gang.
Illegalist gang, exactly. Oh my god, I recently. Let's go back to the topic.
Yeah.
So you say that act now. In what way precisely are you saying act now because we are fucked? So what does this include?
Well, this doesn't include joining a fucking union. All right, none of that.
Oh,
none of that shit. Acting now is essentially going out there and raising fucking hell, essentially an insurrection, if you will. If you like starting, like getting like groups together, preferably the informally organized kind. You're doing stuff like illegalism and insurrectionary stuff because that is the only way that that's the only way I think we're going to get anywhere. There is no like real time to worry about how the system is going to work because we are so like far away from any sort of position where we're even close to implementing such a system at the moment. So we have to act now. That's essentially what it means to act now.
Okay. And do you agree with that?
Wholeheartedly.
Okay. And I'd like to ask you a question then about that. Do you really believe that we are fucked? And in what way?
We are fucked, cunt. Like, the fact that we are in late-stage capitalism is proof enough that we're fucked. Like, this thing we call capitalism, this system, this ideology, is so deeply rooted and is so easily adaptable that it has lasted for over 100 fucking years. Like, you know how MLs go, oh, those dumb anarchies, your thing lasted for a week. Why about fucking dumb MLs? Capitalism has lasted for 100 fucking years. It continues to adapt and change and do what it needs to survive. You know, you cut one head off, two more grow. Like, yes, like, I think that alone is proof enough that we are fucked and we are not heading in a direction where it's going to be a bright future. Like, the future doesn't hold socialism. The future doesn't hold communism. It holds more fucking capitalism. Maybe fascism. Like, yeah, that in terms of that, we are so fucked. There is no bright future.
So basically, the critique comes from the idea that socialism, like, so how can I say it? Orthodox kind, the left, is completely is not completely unadapted to fighting capitalism, and and actually, yeah, another question. Like, I understand the connotation. I have another question. Like, how is from like this standpoint, spontaneous organization and insurrectionism better than organization and proper organization that was like prevalent in leftist movements throughout the years? Why isn't it as good?
I mean, like the traditional sort of what we call formalized
yeah, like unions, parties, yeah, formalized organization.
Yeah, organizations. Yeah, I don't think that the really effective is because, like, yeah, sure, we can point to like a ton of like points in history where that works, like, USSR, China, whatever, Cuba, but we do also fail to like look at all the failures that happened with that. And I also like think that formal organization has resulted in what I would best describe as lol, wait, we're not there yet, hold on, wait a bit longer, the conditions aren't right. Like, going back to Blessed is the Flame, they make a comparison, they use they look at the concentration camp resistance that were going on there, and basically they also had formal and informal organization, and what they found was that the formal organizations tend to do this thing where they hold off people and go, okay, we need to wait, the conditions aren't right yet, or whatever, and it didn't end up very well. While the more successful uprisings from the people in the camps were done by informal organization and trying to do it now. So once they had their plan, once they had all the once they had access to the
you're doing robot voice. I'm sorry to cut you off. You need to recommend your voice.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, welcome to Google Hangouts.
Yeah, it's like he has a fucking almost professional audio setup, and then it fucks up like that. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but you can catch Spoogs and Shit doing robot voice on In Union with Comrades, a weekly stream that we do. As Red Hood is pointing out in the chat, son of a bitch, with what's with all the Aussie shit posters? You guys have a monopoly on that shit. We do. We even have a specific show, almost completely dedicated to Australian shit posters. It's called In Union with Comrades, done on obviously Australian evenings. Every Tuesday. And Spooks is a frequent there, and he does a bunch of robot voice there. Hello, Spooks?
Alright, I should be back now. What?
Yeah, not really. Not really. Your voice is still crackly. It's not as bad, but it's crackly. Can you please change that?
I'm not sure if I can change that. I can like reconnect it again. Hold on.
Try to do that and blow out the.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hello?
Is that better?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, let's come back to the organization and how informal organization is better.
Yeah, well, what they found was is that the informal organization, once they got their plan ready, once they got access to the weapons shelter or whatever, they went with it, Like, there were some delays, obviously. Like, I think one of them at some camp was weather, really like shit weather and all that. But besides that, when when there was no major things holding them back, they went for it. And although the most successful outbreak was like 500 people in the camps and only 20 made it out, that was all done through kind of like this uprise now informal styled organization. rather than the central formal ones, which
Mhm.
resulted in just people waiting, even though most of the time what would happen is that they'd kind of like have rumors going around and eventually some proof that the camps were being liquidated, the
Yeah.
assets, which I'm sure you can interpret what that actually means. And usually that would you could see that when people stopped like arriving at the camps. Generally, that's an indicator that they were going to liquidate. But the formal like organizations kept telling these people to wait, even though they had prime opportunity to just do it now, and they had to essentially because they were going to be fucking killed. I
Yeah.
think the good thing about informal organizations is that they're much more adaptable than formal ones, and they also can survive longer. Like you can pull off more hectic shit when you're just a bunch of cells under a name rather than like a formal actual organization with membership. Like you can I'll use an
Mhm.
actual current example, the conspiracy of cells of fire. They're like a nihilist anarchist group operating in Greece at the moment, and they're
Mhm.
basically the epitome of informal organization. It's literally just a bunch of cells under a name, and anyone can basically um, do an action and call it and use that name, and that will be like an action that the organization has done essentially. Um, excuse me. And
Okay.
what they've been able to do is they've been able to um like do some fucking hackers shit, like letter bomb people. I think they like burnt 50 cop cars in a row or some shit. Shot out the I know it's a different group, whatever. Um, you know, do some rioting and all that. And they've been able to continuously survive because they're not a formal organization. It's just a name essentially with a bunch of people acting under it.
Yeah, and like if we talk about some, riots and terrorism, I can see this critique because if you look at, for example, a great example, first thing that actually popped into my mind were Nazbols in Russia. Like before they were banned in 2008, they managed in 2009, I think they were banned. In 2008 or 7, they managed to take control over the building of the Ministry of Finance. They just ran in and captured it, right? And they just fucking
Yeah.
did it. And one of the biggest fucking things was they also captured the corporation that's responsible for all the railroads in Russia. And so they had full access to that. So it was after Durin has left the party, by the way, Red Hood. It was completely, it was just Ulmanov. And then they were banned, right? And right after the ban, the party ceased to exist, and they tried to reorganize under the new Russia party, but due to the fact that they were banned and there was no strict organization anymore, and due to other circumstances, but partly because of that, they never regained the power that they had before. Like there are no, yeah.
You've killed them essentially. You've just fucking killed them. And now since they don't have a chance to reorganize, they didn't keep the cloak on, if you will. They didn't keep that anonymity at all, so that they could be easily
Please
identified.
reconnect your mic. Reconnect your mic because your mic is fucking up.
I'm gonna leave the call and then I'm gonna rejoin. Hopefully that's gonna fix it.
Okay, sure.
Maybe like
no problem. So what the chat is saying, look at the failures, but do not neglect the successes. The organization is no way to mass mobilize this organization. Yeah, I can get that, but at the same time, look at many. I think it is still viable strategy. Like I don't completely agree with Spoogs. Like I'm still for unions and I'm still for all of that good stuff. What up, TK? I'm still all for that good stuff, but at the same time, I can see some of those tactics, like for example, the tactic that Spooks is talking about with disorganization as a very, very viable strategy for some countries. Like, in my opinion, a revolutionary workers' party wouldn't work as well in Belarus compared to random acts of violence done by disconnected cells of anarcho-nihilists. They can literally create more havoc and more success in terms of workers' movement, and even like lay foundation for a mass movement to appear. Like it is a viable strategy in my opinion. You know?
Yeah, there's also that whole other aspect of propaganda of the deed. So to not just like going back to the conspiracy of Cells of Fire, they have written books or whatever. You can look them up in the Anarchist Library. They've got a bunch of stuff.
Uh-huh.
They're mostly short, so it's pretty good. But what they essentially do is that the writings are not like they're not first, if you will. First, they will
They're not what?
actually. They're not first, if you will. They do the actions first, and they use the writings to kind of be propaganda with those actions. Kind of like what I guess ISIS did with the beheading videos. Those were kind of like a form of propaganda, sort of. So like you do the action, you burn the cop cars or whatever, and then you release a paper to the internet about what you're doing.
Oh, okay. So basically,
literally,
this propaganda is a rather reporting.
Right,
Yeah,
you
I can see that.
cut out there. Hold on.
Oh, you cut out as well. You're cutting out really bad. We suffer from terrible connection. I'm sorry, but Faye is known to be shit in terms of audio. Like we're always bad. But this is what happens.
Google Hangouts, I swear to God.
I believe it's shortages of the bandwidth. It's shortages of bandwidth. So I'm sorry. And yeah, like I can see that. It's very interesting. Can you later on link me some of that stuff? How they called again?
Yeah, I have like a conspiracy of Cells of Fire. I have like a I have like a paste bin of like shit. Hold on. Actually, no,
send me that stuff. It's fun.
All right, hold on. I can
because
do that.
It reminds me.
There we go.
It reminds me of another book that I read a part of and has been referenced by loads of fucking Nazis, and it's called The Siege. You may be familiar with that book. And The Siege is a very, very interesting literature that basically says similar things, but from the standpoint of the fascists. And the book is really about how do you say it? It's really about how to normalize violence towards the ruling class and toward the bourgeoisie. How to normalize violence in the society so that they would be afraid of you every single day of the fucking year of being dead in the street. It's like, how do we do that? And it's extremely weird because it doesn't like it basically says similar things to anarcho-nihilism, right? From the standpoint, like they subscribe to similar tactics. So get yourself a couple of buddies, create a fucking cell, and then blow shit up, kill people, do whatever you fucking want, you know? Kill the rich, not just people, but they're talking about. And I'm like, ooh, it's like it's very weird. Like you read that and you understand that all of this literature, all of nihilist literature comes from a very, very, like when you read it, it seems extremely, how do you say, like it comes from an existential point of view, like not even existential point of view, but rather how do I explain? You do understand what I'm saying. Like it comes from a point when people are like, you know what? Nothing is working out. We are all fucked. Panic, and do something. You know, It's a very desperate point. Excuse me?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, it is a
It's,
desperate point because we are in a desperate time,
and like
essentially.
fascists think so the same. Like they also think that. It's really weird. They think the same shit. And when you, because they, none of them are really talking about economics. Like we see them as far right, you know. We see them as people who always institute really oppressive capitalism, but they don't think of themselves like that. They don't think like I don't know why. Like, of course they don't. You know, they're like, nah, we want a system that is better for the people. Therefore, you have many third positioners that argue for rather leftist things. You know, because it doesn't really matter for them. Well, obviously, they end up capitalist.
Of course,
right?
But there is
but they
sort of there is a sort of collectivist thing to fascism. It's a bit different from it. Actually, no, a lot fucking different from the leftist sort of collectivist mindset. But basically, the fascist sort of collectivist mindset is to rally people like under a nation, under the nation. Like the nation becomes like this separate entity that has its own like health essentially. And you know all the Jews or whatever, and the immigrants and the globalism is affecting its health and it's making it sick. So essentially, by removing those things, you are keeping the nation healthy, and you rally people under that to keep this thing of keeping the nation healthy.
Yeah,
so it's essentially doing what's best for the nation, which is doing what's best for the people, all sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so when fascists look at the current state of capitalism, they come to similar conclusions that many leftists come to. It's like, whoa, fuck, this is insane. Like, they look at the superstructure, and superstructure is so, like, pure ideology, you know? It's insane. It's insanely oppressive. It's insanely, like, when you talk to people about simple things, you know? Simple things for a leftist, like, you come to a normal, you know, I am apolitical sort of guy, and tell them, you know, alienation. Start like talking about how capitalism is not really good, you know, and you have a very positive approach to that. You don't like you don't grow a beard all of a sudden and throw like capital at him and like, haha, you know, look at this theory of. And you should read the theory. Let me explain you shortly what the Marxism is all about. You know, and you give him a 5-year course on political economy in 1 hour. And actually, it reminds me of what Karl Marx said to Engels. It was extremely nice quote. He says that it's impossible to give a course on political philosophy in 1 hour, but we have to do our best. and this is sort of you don't do that, but you like casually approach the topic and you start talking to people about that. In many cases, you will find aggression, extreme aggression. People will start, you will see either they will be completely like, I remember talking to one of my friends about that stuff, about the plight of the working class in Belarus, right? And it all finished with, I'm like, my God, don't you realize that there are other ways? Like, it's like, oh, you know, people are stupid, blah, blah, blah. And you like, you quickly realize that the person is completely consumed by the superstructure. It's not just like superstructure is like results in some things appearing independently out from humans, but even individual human beings are becoming part of the superstructure. They start spewing complete bullshit, you know, real bullshit while describing politics or economy, and you without realizing that it is complete bullshit. You know? Like, we are so deep into that even the fascists are like, you know what? Quick organizations like rack shit up, normalize violence towards the bourgeoisie, keep killing them in the streets, blowing up stuff, you know? And some of them are even ready to align with the leftists. Like, they hate communism, right? But some organizations, some fascists are like, I would love to align myself with an insurrectionary socialist, because we have a common enemy. We want to fuck stuff up. We want to destroy the bourgeoisie. It will be better for everyone. Capitalism is killing us. Let's do this, you know? And like, what do you think about that? What do you think about the question of aligning ourselves with the fascists in the, like, while the shit is going down?
No. Like, what they're going to do is they're going to stab us in the fucking back, as per usual. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think ever fucking trust fascists, and nor should we. They should be fucking dead just as much as the bourgeoisie should be. But I'm not sure. I haven't really seen that sort of fascism. I've seen very low key sort of shit. I'm not sure if it's like just your area or something, but I have never seen like a fascist wanting to pull off some sort of insurrection. They're very, very low key nowadays. That's at least what I'm seeing.
Yeah, today, yeah, because like they try to the alt-right thing, right? And I don't think it's working out for them really good. And
I think it worked for them for quite a bit. It's got them like people have actually started talking about it, and I think it did a good job of hiding their real beliefs and making a more friendly, open platform for new people to join.
yeah,
But I think it's kind of sort of failing on them a bit. Like, the thing is, it wasn't like, it was pretty much targeted, I'd say, for like centrists and stuff, because I think they're fully aware that leftists will just see dog whistling and they'll pull it out. But yeah, I think it was pretty effective in that sense. You know,
I agree.
like
Your mic, reconnect your mic. It's fucking. I gave you a couple of minutes because it was okay-ish fucking up, but now it's just terrible. But yeah, like, I agree, and I'm not talking about. Yeah, it's better now. I'm not even talking about like my local leftists. I'm talking mostly about American leftists, and not leftists, fascists. Like, there are some fascist organizations in the West that are really into aligning themselves with Antifa, and they're like, "Yo, dudes, let's do this together. Let's go. Let's fuck shit up. Let's destroy America." You know, and talking about the future revolutions, like, this is a topic that me and TK have discussed a long time ago, when Charlottesville was a thing, and we were saying, like, we basically said that this is how insurrection will look like. Like, the revolution will not look like it used to, like a mass movement of workers coming together under one organization or under like countable amount, you know, of organizations, and they're all moving towards a common goal, and blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to happen like that. Charlottesville is the example how it's going to happen. Oh, I'm sorry, my cats keep breaking shit. I really I can come with my laptop while I'm talking. Oh my god, broke something big. I don't know. 1 second. So yeah, they got into the kitchen. Obviously, they fucked stuff up. Go away, cats. Well, what's that? I don't know. Nothing. It looks completely peaceful here. I don't know what happened. Okay, let me just close the door. Bad cats, stop doing that. I'm doing a live stream about nihilism and fascists. Oh, so
stop breaking shit.
Stop breaking shit. It's not Friday where you can break shit. So let me get back on the point. Insurrection, revolution will look like sort of Charlottesville. It will be multiple organizations. It will be multiple movements all around the country, whatever country you are talking about, right?
Yeah.
In one city, you will have this organization come to power. In another area, you will have those, you know, partisans running around and like that may not even have an ideology, you know, and like, for example, the Greens, you know, like, what's better for the, like, not Greens like Green Party, but Greens as in Russian Civil War. So really close to anarchism, but really about agrarian stuff, you know, because every single group will start to find their own thing to follow. And this, like, the country will fall apart with all of those small factions trying to align with each other and trying to destroy the state, while, you know, it's all like, you know how they say anarchy is chaos, you know?
Yeah.
this is sort of a thing that will happen when the revolution comes. It will be complete anarchy. There will be no central government because they will completely lose control over everything. They will just come back to the capital or to another city to regroup, and then you will have a fucking Somalia everywhere. It will be Somalia. And it's just because it's the only logical, like, it's just illogical to believe that one of the political organizations will become the strongest because they have what? Like, what do they have? Why does, like, what's the difference between British Communist Party and Communist Party of Britain, Marxist-Leninist? Or Solidarity Party, or the left caucus of the Labour Party? Like, what is going to happen, you think? It will all either not work out because there will be no strong movement, or we will have Somalia. Like,
pure fucking poison, I guess.
Yeah, and like, fascists will be there as well. There will be as well there, and some of them will be willing to join forces with other guys. Like, I'm pretty sure national syndicalists, will be happy to join with other syndicalists.
I mean, they especially still exist.
Some of them do. Like, being a national syndicalist is a thing. Like, some reactionary dudes who are really into fascism but don't want to, like, have swastikas everywhere, they just use Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
they just use Franco and national syndicalism as their way to express their reactionary beliefs. Like,
there's some, like, questions in the comments I want to answer real quick. Can I do that?
Sure, let's do this.
There we go. The red mushroom. Material conditions do matter. I'm not completely against the actions Spoogs is proposing. I just feel as though they can quickly spiral and alienate the working masses. All right. Well, first, I'm going to address the whole alienating the working masses thing. I think you've confused anarcho-nihilism with traditional leftist, like, thought. Anarcho-nihilism kind of rejects a mass uprising of working class. Like, that's why we're insurrectionary, because we just don't think that's going to happen at all, and that's not really our goal. Although it can't be too small, and there needs to be enough people in there. It's not going to, like, come to the point where it's going to be like a mass uprising of working class. It's more individual centered, if you will, than that. So, and I think that the material conditions, like, I think the problem with that analyzing is it just does become lol wait. Just keep fucking waiting. And to this point where it becomes so idealized that there'll be, like, people, like, thinking there'll be just this magical fucking time where everything's gonna fall into place and all the workers are gonna rise up, like, through the internal contradictions of capitalism are gonna catch up, and there's gonna be crisis, and it's gonna be an opportune time to, like, organize and get shit done. But we've had that opportune time, and it hasn't fucking happened. The Great Depression was an opportune time to organize the working class and get a mass movement going. It never fucking happened. Germany, World War II, massive fucking economic collapse, crises, people wheelbarrowing fucking, like, wheelbarrows of cash around to buy bread. It was shit. What happened? The fucking fascists rose up instead. 2008, the housing crash. Everything was going to shit. Another, like, worldwide sort of economic crises around the mid to late 2000s. Opportune time to rise the workers up and get a movement going, and it didn't fucking happen.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
Nothing at all happened. We have had opportune time to organize, and it hasn't fucking worked. So yeah. Next question. Oh, it's TK. Hello, TK. A question for Spoogs. How would your ideas be applied to Australia today? If that hasn't, all right, that's a different thing. Well, simply by doing it. Not sure if maybe you phrased it really badly, but maybe it's just me being a retard. But
No, the question is more
It
like,
would.
like, it's actually, I would like to use this as a basis and then come to other stuff. How do you think, uh, like, why isn't this happening already everywhere? And how do you think this will affect the situation in the countries? Won't it just, like, because if you have, uh, like, yeah, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with the, like, okay, once again, why it doesn't happen yet in Australia or in other first world countries? And second is, how will this affect the working class movements in general?
All right. As for the first point, the why is this happening already? I think I can pretty much chalk that up to these ideas being like very recent. Like sort of the 1800 like the Russian nihilist movement of the 1800s. I'm not sure exactly what date. But they were kind of like a proto sort of nihilist anarchist
Oh, they
like
were
thing going on
terrible.
there.
They were terrible, dude. The nihilists and symbolists in Russia were literally Porsche fuckers who were really sad.
Real sad hours. No, but they were kind of like a proto version of it, and some of their ideas have transferred over.
Uh-huh.
This didn't like the proper like form that I'm talking about has like only really existed since the late 90s and early 2000s. It has not been like around for very long, and therefore its ideas haven't particularly been able to spread.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's also the it's spreading in European countries. I think has to do with individualist um anarchism and stuff around that sort of post lefty sort of theory also being more popular there, so people were more willing to try it out at first
Mm-hmm.
as well. So I think that's why it isn't happening everywhere at the moment. Although, like I think just like every other school of thought, it does like take a bit of time to spread and for people to start trying it. I think so. Um, I think the way to spread it though would be for very small groups to start doing shit and spreading the idea through propaganda of the deed, which I think is very much possible at the moment,
Okay.
especially in pretty much every country. As long as you have like anarchists willing to do things right now, you can form a small group and you can start doing that and slowly but surely spread the ideas until you can have something like the conspiracy of cells of fire and
What
start
does
burning
this
cars.
include? Like, what does it include? You said burning cars, so you talk about rioting, right? But
Yeah, lots of
what
writing.
else are you including in that?
Um, assassinations and letter bombing. Those are
Okay,
two pretty good
okay,
ones.
all
Yeah,
right.
we'll get to that point. Like, I'm not saying that it starts out at that point, obviously, but it's gonna. That's like the end sort of goal. Like for to start like being able to like just assassinate politicians and get shit like really like fucked to that degree, having riots. And I think you can kind of see that within like Greece, where you have like very violent clashes between what's that party's name? Oh, Golden Dawn, right? You know, the
Golden
neo-Nazi
Dawn, yeah,
party. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, like anarchists over there and the Golden Dawn party have had very violent clashes to the point where they've started killing like other members and shit.
yeah.
And also, I think they have this like yearly riot over there. Like some kid got like shot by a cop, and
Oh,
they
I
have like a
remember that.
riot every year. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a riot like every fucking year. It's amazing. But
I remember the
um,
year when they
I,
did that. The anarchist like quarter, well, not quarter, but anarchist, like this place in Athens where the anarchists are hanging around, you know, and when they
yeah,
do the when they live basically squatting. I remember seeing videos and photos of people, like, it's a giant fucking riot, it's smoke everywhere, and there are masked people with guns walking out of there. And I'm like, dude, they are literally armed. They literally have, like, they have hunting rifles there,
yeah, they're
ready
ready to
to
fuck shit
go.
up.
And I'm like,
Like,
fuck, this is serious. This is not just like, oh, a kid was killed, let's go and be
let's go have a
angry.
protest.
Yeah,
we'll hold up some signs about how we don't like capitalism. This is real shit. Like, these people are ready to throw down.
yeah, like Greece is amazing. Like, shout out to Greece.
Yeah, shout out to Greece. Shout out to the anarchists in Greece. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, that shit is amazing.
I'll come over there eventually. I want to move. I want to like have a holiday in Greece and do that. That's like the ideal holiday for me.
Yeah,
oh, and to visit the autonomous zones, because they have like full-on autonomous zones there running on like anarchist principles. It's amazing.
In Greece.
But yeah, they have a few.
In Greece, you mean? Great.
Yeah, in Greece.
It's really great.
Around like, yeah, it is. It's great. Follow Greece. Right?
Yeah, please
they got this shit down. Oh, and follow Italy. Italy also have a group, the Informal Anarchist Federation, and they're not as righty, I think, but they definitely are they're nearing the point of like starting to kill people, I think, because at some point they shot a nuclear plant owner in the kneecap. Like, he was just walking to his house, came up on a motorbike and just popped him right in the kneecap. It was pretty heckish.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
I remember that in Greece, anarchists rolled up to the main office of the Golden Dawn on a motorbike, and the guy in the back took out, I think, an assault rifle.
Ooh.
And shot 2 Golden Dawn members, and then they just ran away, and nobody found them.
Amazing.
Just like fucking that.
Like,
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is insane. By the way, Eastern Marshlands legally is obliged. Eastern Marshlands is legally obliged to say that we are not supporting violence. We are reporting on it. We are talking about it. We're reporting. Please make sure that understanding that we are not supporting violence. Please, no, we're not supporting. We are just reporting. So please, Spoogs, tell me more about how do we kill the politicians and letter bomb them?
Hell yeah, you gotta letter bomb everything. Oh, wait, hold on. Someone like, all right. Shout out to Salesman 19. Yeah, they would have drove up on a Vespa. You're right.
Yeah, Italy, they drove up in the Vespa. Oh my god, I think it's the Vespa Club.
We're gonna shoot the kneecap out of a nuclear plant on a Vespa. Get ready, lads.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, it's the Anarchist Vespa Riding Club. This is what the group is going to be called.
Yes.
Anarchist Vespa Club, and people are just running around on Vespas, shooting people in kneecaps. Fun times.
Fun times, indeed. No, but yeah, I think like that is the situation where we're gonna get, and I think the like people who don't like this sort of stuff, I kind of find like weird. It's like, oh, it's doing it too soon, but it's like this shit is what's gonna happen in a revolution. Like,
yeah.
Like, this will be it. This kind of extreme violence of like killing your political opponents and blowing up shit. That's what's going to happen eventually.
I agree.
It's just what revolution is. It's just we're doing it now.
Understand? Yeah. And actually, it gave me like a couple of thoughts, because I was thinking about how do, like, I had this thought in my head. How do I maximize my harm to capitalism while still staying in a sort of, safe ground? Because
that's pretty much impossible.
I understand that it's pretty much impossible, but still safe, not necessarily legal, I mean, But like, how do you stay safe and commit as much of economic violence, for example, to businesses as possible? And
I do know how to answer that,
yeah?
actually. First, keep the cloak on, right? Do not fucking make social media accounts and go, oh, great protest today. We bashed the shit out of a Nazi. It was great. Like, don't fucking do that. Like, you were literally raising like a bright yellow flag going, yes, arrest us. We're ready. Come take us to the prison cell. Like, don't do that. Keep the cloak on. All right? Keep underground. Also hide your identity, like black block sort of clothing, or preferably a helmet, like motorcycle helmet, because that covers up everything. Like,
right.
Keep your identity hidden and make sure it can't be like backtraced to you, essentially. Also, groups. Like, groups are very good because if an individual does something, it's way easier to track them down. But if it's a group of people doing it, then it's much harder to do anything about it.
Right.
To be in safety in numbers, strength in numbers. It's as long as you've got like a decent number, you should be able to get away with a bit more shit than you by yourself, essentially.
There is.
Hold on. TK has another question.
Yeah, I want to just. Yeah.
How bad will it have to get when people start using anarcho-nihilist tactics that you talk about, Spoogs? Now it is to that point. We're fucked. Remember, it's bad. We're in late stage capitalism. It's very fucking bad. Like,
Cuba is not coming to save us, and Politburo doesn't exist. So
nothing is coming to save you. Sorry. Like, shit. I had this like example, but I forgot it. Shit. I'm gonna try and remember it. Yeah, like there we go. Okay. Okay, so you're in the US, right? Yankland, Burgerland. They have, it is so bad over there that they have enough housing to like more than enough then to provide for homeless people.
Person, yeah.
Yeah, you can just shove them into a house, right? But they won't fucking do that because fucking lay private property, oink oink. But if it's that bad, like if people are literally getting cut off, like their needs and their living are being cut off thanks to some spooky like concepts like private property, then it's time to fucking act now. It's time to go and not just join a union and hope for the best. It's time to fucking take those houses and just live in them. Just take them. There's nothing particularly stopping you from taking them. Most of them are they're not guarded. No one's there. There's no permanent residence in there. You can just take them and start living in them. The squatter movement has definitely like provided that outlet.
Yeah.
And I think more people should be onto that. Like, just simply go for the egoist position and start seizing shit that you need. Like, stop just waiting for a revolution to start seizing things. Start seizing shit now. Like, it's going like what they've done in Greece, how they've got the autonomous zones and shit up and running. Like, no other country is even close to anything like that at the moment because we don't fucking see shit. We won't just go into like buildings and take them for ourselves. We just join unions and protest or some shit. I don't know, but that's like all we do. We're not actually getting stuff done. Really, we're just joining and promoting a platform. When really the platform that we should be promoting is doing shit. Is fucking taking what we need. I mean, fucking even Lenin was onto this shit. I'm pretty sure like Lenin robbed a bank during the early days.
They robbed a couple of banks to fund the party. Yeah.
Yeah, if Lenin can do that, if Lenin understands that, then why can't fucking Western anarchists understand that? Come on, step up. Like we are not in a situation where a union is going to be able to bring down capitalism. We are not in a state where the DSA is going to be able to do anything politically and help change shit. We are in a situation where we just need to go. Like, it's either we wait and die in a corner, like the entire we never achieved what we wanted to achieve, or we do shit now and try to get that. Even if we fail, a day of insurrection is better than is 1,000 times better than 10 years of waiting. Don't be an armchairist, essentially. Don't do that. Don't join a union. Make cells. Do some stuff. You only need a couple of people. I'm sure there'll be people down. There are like just small groups, like solidarity networks or whatever. You can go into them, and there'll probably be a few people thinking relatively the same to you. You can go in there and, talk to them and make friends with them, and then eventually start forming something separate than that and start doing shit. Even if it's just mild stuff like vandalism and like changing billboards to some sort of piece of propaganda, or just some flag burning, like that stuff like gets people interested, and it's like starts kicking shit off. It's pulling that cord on the lawnmower. It's stuttering, but it's gonna get there. You're starting the fire.
All right. Very interesting, dude. It was a very interesting discussion, my dude. Are there any other stuff that you would like to talk about? Maybe some, like, you already gave some advice about staying safe, right?
Yeah.
Are there any other stuff that you wanted to tell before we are going offline? Because I think I've asked all my questions. I think I've asked all my questions. Are there any other stuff that you want to talk about?
I think we do need to touch on the boogeyman, the elephant in the room. I think I already, like, when I answered Mushroom's question, I kind of said that we weren't like traditional leftists. So I think some people have already, like, they're thinking it right. But we do need to touch on post-leftism just for a bit. All right, because it's going to clear up a lot of context here. Essentially what post-leftism is it's a blanket term or umbrella term, whichever you prefer to use, of tendencies and ideologies that go against traditional leftist beliefs. So anarcho-nihilism would be a part of this family, as it goes against traditional organizing. It goes against historical progress. Excuse me. It goes against a lot of what traditional leftism has been pushing for many, many years now. I think the problem is that a lot of people don't really understand post-leftism. Like, I've heard people like say, "Oh, well, post-leftism is when you don't work and you just sit around and binge like all day," because they like saw like the cover of Abolition of Work by Bill Black and never fucking read it. But
abolish work, please.
But and they kind of treat it as, actually, I do need to touch on Bob Black, that faggot. But
okay. Well, just a quick reminder, Spoogs may sound like an edgy teenager, but he's actually a very well-read individual. He's extremely good. Therefore, like, we will dwell into this stuff.
No, don't worry. I'm still an edgy teenager. I'm just well-read, I guess.
Well-read edginess. This is the thing that I wholeheartedly support. Exactly. So please, let's talk about that shit.
Yeah, we do need to touch on Bob Black, because he has kind of become this figurehead. All right. And there are even like there is this kind of a split in the post-leftist sort of scene. You either go with a more Bob Black definition or the umbrella term definition. Now, I'm going to say this right now, right? I would suggest reading some of Bob Black's work. It's interesting. Abolition of Work, especially. It was very interesting, right? But Bob Black himself as a person can go fuck himself, all right?
Why?
He is a fucking police snitch. He snitched
really?
to the police with something. Yeah, he's a cunt. Right? Don't think that post-leftism is like Bob Black is like a representation of post-leftism, because it's fucking not. Don't believe his yank lies. He's a police snitch.
God. He's a police snitch, and he is a theorist of post-leftist thought.
Yep.
Wow.
He's a major contributor as well. But they see that, and they see like his abolition of work stuff. They think, oh, that's what post-leftism is. Or they think, oh, post-leftism is just Anprim shit. But it's like, no, it isn't. Stop. It's an umbrella term. So yeah, I think that needed to be kind of said and summed up, because it is a part of the anarcho-nihilist theory. What was that? Oh, yeah, because it does reject. We are not fucking leftists, essentially. Then we are technically post-leftists. So that's why, like, when Mushroom was talking about, like, oh, what about alienating the working class? Well, it's because we're not exactly a working class movement, more of an individualist movement, essentially, because we don't believe in mass uprising. So it's a deviation from traditional leftism, essentially. If you actually, there was like a good thread about it from post left memes for feral teens. They did like a thread on Twitter address to Muke and actually Dong. It's pretty good. I'll try and link it. But it's I would suggest giving it a read. Like, it goes over the basics, but it's not too lengthy. But yeah, essentially it does go over the basics of it and clears up a lot of misconceptions. Let me.
Interesting.
Right,
Link that stuff. This is the first time. This is the first time I will be using Twitter threads as a fucking reference point.
It is a good reference point. It's basically a good summary. I'd call it that. It's a good summary. If you want to read more, you can read some. You can read some Stirner, because egoism can technically be a form of post-leftism, and his theories have contributed to it as a whole. Wolfie Landstreicher, I fucking can't pronounce his name, but you should check him out. He's pretty good. I would read, although I think you should read some of Bob Police Snitch Black's work, because it is still interesting. Just don't like view it as like what post-leftism represents, essentially. Like, a lot of the idea, actually, fuck it, just read Abolition of Work. Like, that's the only one you really need to read, because that's pretty much universally agreed upon. Oh yeah, and if you're gonna read Stirner, read the good translation, The Unique and Its Property. It's much better and it's longer, so try and get your hands on that. It's PDF's like very easily available. Don't read The Ego on its own, because that's like the worst translation. What else? I think that's a good starting. That's a good starting point. Oh, in terms of anarcho-nihilism, I'll like paste a pastebin link, because I made a pastebin full of shit.
Oh, nice.
It's good. It's just a bunch of like links to Anarchist Library and stuff, so you can. Oh, fuck, that's right. I got to remove the HTTP in outer space, because YouTube doesn't like link for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I will link everything in the description, so
it's in chat.
People want to.
Basically, I'll just read out.
It will be there.
Yeah, I'll read out what it contains. It contains basically a lot of these are going to be Anarchist Library search results, which list out all the books for specific authors. So it's got some Bruno Felipe. Hold on, I'm going to read the Oh, there we go. Let me see. Enrine Vinani. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna butcher these names. Just like
Irene Vinani, Bruno Filippi, right?
There we go. You can pronounce them better.
And so Martucci, Conspiracy of Cells of Fire, Anarcho-Nihilism, Anarchy in the 21st Century.
That's some stuff by Aragon. You should
Aragon. And Aragon, Anarchy and Nihilism Consequences.
Oh yeah, that's like a two-part what would you call it? Booklet, something, whatever you want to call it. Right. They're pretty short. They're like 25 pages each, but they do go over a lot of like anarcho-nihilist stuff. Although I think he prefers to call it nihilist anarchism. It doesn't particularly matter. Same shit. That's a good read, and of course, I think it's already linked somewhere in the chat. Blessed is the Flame, which I'd recommend reading first, as I think that's a very good introduction, and it's interesting. It's only like 100 pages as well, so if you're a good reader, you shouldn't have any trouble with that, getting through that at all.
Great.
And all the conspiracy of cells of fire is like short. Also, Renzo Novote. I'm still butchering these names. I can't pronounce shit, but check him out as well. I'm sure if Dip Tap's still here, he can like write it out, or whatever. He knows how to spell it. He was a illegalist, egoist, individualist anarchist, and he wrote a few things. Most of them are pretty short, although he did have like a proper sized book. Toward the Creative Nothing. I think that was the big one. Yeah, that's the big one. Which are interesting and very good, and that's sort of like post-leftist sort of theory, as well as sort of anarcho-nihilist sort of stuff. What's similar, not exact, but similar. So I'd recommend reading all those people if you want to read books. Or there you go. Diptap has saved the day, and he's posted the name.
Yeah, it's Razno Novatore, and he says he killed himself to avoid fascist Italy prison.
Fucking hell. What a legend. I'd go out like that.
Yeah.
But there's also a specific book I want to recommend. The Rebels' Dark Laughter. I think this isn't exactly theory, but basically what it is a journal of like I forgot who wrote it, but hold on. Anarchist Library. It's basically a journal because he was actually a part of a insurrectionary sort of nihilist anarchist group in Italy.
Bruno Filippi founded.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Bruno Filippi, and he like died at like age 17 or 18, quite young, but it's basically just his journals, and it does touch upon some stuff that relates to this, like the dehumanizing effects of fighting and all that. Like, I think I'd recommend that. That's a good read, and it kind of acts as an insight into what this kind of shit would entail if it kicks off in a country. Oh, and also the right to be greedy. The thesis on practical necessity of demanding everything. That's pretty egoist, as and post lefty as well.
Can you send me that?
Oh yeah, hold on.
How's it called again?
I'll just send you the link over the. Oh fuck! I opened up FL Studio.
Send it on Discord because it's some really good shit, man.
It's hard hitting.
It is.
Oh
god, I think so much stuff, dude.
So much stuff. Yeah, there's a lot more than you think, but yeah.
Understandable, but like because I was thinking that if we because I wanted to create a library for the Eastern Marshlands website where we will be using it as a bunch of like links to store a bunch of leftist stuff, copying so it will be stored not only on some weird website but on ours as well. It was mostly done to save a Russian translation of Towards New Socialism by Paul Cockshott, and therefore, I think it would be really interesting to list all of this stuff, all those books that we discuss in the library itself. I will think of the ways to organize that, but it'll be really cool to store it there as well.
Yeah,
because it's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could store it all, and people want to, read up on whatever you've talked about or whatever, and they could just go to the link and start reading.
Yeah, it will be all on the website. I think we'll try to save.
Try to get that up and running. Oh shit! I think I've disconnected. Hello? Eugene, I think you've gone dead. Or have I gone dead? Ooh, I think he's dead. Oh, he's
Hello?
all right. Wait.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, he's back. Yeah,
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. It just turned off. Yeah, I've got your message. It just turned off.
Oh, no, I understand that
Fucking
feeling.
hell. Not only turned off, but my Google Hangout started to restart.
What the hell? That's really weird. That's never happened.
It's really
to
weird.
me.
Okay,
Right.
so first time happened to me as well. So basically, yeah, we will come up with a fun way to store all this stuff on eastmartians.com. And is there anything else that we have to mention before we go?
No, that's basically it. Oh, also read Dr. Bones. Like, got to give him a shout out to Daddy Bones. Read his articles or whatever. They're great.
Okay, and what's they are all about? What's how they are about?
Mostly like from an egoist perspective. He's like an egoist communist. He has like a few things. He has like a thing like egoist communism, what it is and isn't. That's
Uh-huh.
that's quite interesting and could be considered like sort of post lefty sort of stuff.
Interesting.
Read that.
Daddy
Yeah,
Bones has a podcast. Ooh.
Oh yeah, he does. The guillotine or whatever. So that's great.
Oh, the guillotine. Is it the new thing that they've just started?
Yeah, it's like the new thing they've got.
Yeah, I remember I was really irritated with them because I saw them on Twitter and I'm like, the guillotine, why they have so much fucking subscribers? They only have 2 shows, and they're like, oh, it's a podcast that is done on the platform, it's going down. Okay. Sorry.
Oh,
shout out to guillotine.
Also, yeah, shout out to the guillotine. Also, Aragon also has a podcast called The Brilliant, I think. I'll have to send the links to these to you at some point.
Oh God, yeah, do that, please.
Yeah, he has a podcast as well, which is that's pretty good.
To the people who want to, yeah, what do you want to say?
I didn't get to talk about any sort of anti-civ shit. To clear that up, because a lot of people think that post-leftism entails like an anti-civ mindset or just anti-civ.
Let's talk about that. Make it the last topic. And a quick thing before we dwell into people. If I forgot to link something and you really want to read it, please message me, please message me or Spoogs, or better both, because I will link it for everyone, and so that, because it's a bunch of shit, I will forget about stuff. I know that. Therefore, please don't forget to message me if I forgot something. Some of the books or articles that were mentioned here, I will link them. Okay, Spooks, let's talk about anti-civ. Anti-civ is a very interesting topic.
Oh yeah, it is very much. I think when people hear anti-civ or anti-civilization, they think of anarcho-primitivism, which is fair enough. It is a form of anti-civ.
I personally think about how terrible Sid Meier's Civilization games are on launch. I'm extremely anti-Civ in this regard. Extremely. And the game is terrible. I just hate Civilization. I'm just putting it down there. It's really dull and boring and doesn't make sense. I'm extremely anti-Civ. So please, Spooks, let's go.
All right. So I think people, they have that kind of mindset, and when they hear that Amprim is like post-left, I think, and especially with like the meme pages on like Twitter, posting those sick, hot post-civ, anti-civ memes.
Yeah.
That kind of get this impression. We're not. There's also like Cyber-Nihilism is kind of post-left, and that's like the exact opposite of anti-civ. It goes for more, like, technology-based civilization to like a high degree. That's like a completely other thing though. But it is interesting. Although it doesn't equal Anprim, essentially. There's also post-civ, which is a bit different. Kind of the same thing, except this time you get to have houses this time, not mud huts. And
great.
Instead of really stepping up, instead of having instead of abolishing technology, you kind of like scavenge it. So like you go out into like the city and you scavenge metal for pipes or whatever or some shit.
Oh God, is it Fallout? Are you talking
like
about
that.
Fallout? Terrible.
It is kind of like
fun.
that, but not fun. Basically, that's kind of like the difference. The villagers would sort of act kind of differently. There is
your
like a very
mic
small,
is terrible. It didn't
there is a very
itself.
small. There's a very small like farming thing going on. Like there will be communally owned gardens, which will grow all the food that is needed for the village. And as for meat, it will only be hunted. Like no farming for that. Just hunted deer or whatever, and all of its corpse will get used. It's different from Amprim in the sense that it still lacks science, it still lacks maths, it still lacks technology to a degree, and it's kind of like the in between. It doesn't like civilization, but it also doesn't like primitive societies either. If you read, I recently finished Posts of a Deeper Exploration, and that kind of lays out that the fact that the Anprims kind of view a very idealized, like non-existent sort of primitive society, which only existed in very small cases. So basically, what Anprims want is like this hunter-gatherer sort of society. You stay in one place, you got your mud huts everywhere, and you do hunting and gathering essentially, and you like that. You live off the land, but with like a non-hierarchical like system, more like a commune. The problem is that barely existed. There was plenty of hierarchy within primitive societies, whether this be like a council or a patriarchy or a matriarchy or a family thing.
Reconnect your mic. You're impossible to listen to. Hello.
Hold on. Let me just.
Reconnect, please. About that.
All right. I can reconnect it again.
Hello.
Is it better?
I think it is. Keep talking. We'll figure it out as we go.
All right. I think just a heads up, when you do this again, don't do this over Google Hangouts. Like pre-record this shit. Have like people use Audacity and record it, so you have like guaranteed good audio.
We usually do that, but because it's a live stream,
Yeah, you can't really do that. That's fair enough.
I can't really do that because we usually do this live with a chat. So we'll try to find other ways because hangouts are terrible. I know that.
They're very terrible. What was I saying? Yeah, so you'd have that kind of hunter-gatherer sort of lifestyle. But, there were hierarchies, which kind of defeats the purpose of Amprim, because it's supposed to be like a commune or whatever. Whatever that be, like a matriarchy or a patriarchy or like a pseudo-monarchy sort of thing, or a council. There were definitely hierarchies. Another like point they make is like technology and art are inherently like oppressive, which I don't need to explain why that's fucking bullshit. Rock, and even then they did have art. Like as an example, the Australian Aboriginals they cave painted. They painted pictures in caves and made very beautiful pieces of artwork.
Yeah.
They also kind of say that primitive societies, although they definitely did have warfare, it wasn't nearly as brutal, and it was more like a ritual, spiritual kind of thing. This is also kind of proven to be bullshit. There's plenty of examples of archaeologists finding mass graves in primitive societies, and after expecting all the bones or whatever, they have found like examples of fucking like scalping and shit and other like brutal ways to kill someone. So it definitely wasn't less brutal. And essentially post-left, not post-left, post-Civ.
Post-Civ, yeah.
Yeah, analyzes this and says, right, that's all bullshit. That's wrong. And they kind of incorporate it into their theory, essentially, to have like this in between where you still have technology, kind of. You still have, you still have science, because Amprims view like science as like dogmatic or some shit, and you still have art, but you don't have a civilized society.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Weird also. But
But
you're saying it's post-civ, right?
yeah, it's like after civilization, but it's not primitive.
Okay, and anti-civ. I don't think I got what's it's all about.
Well, it's just a like a branch, like an umbrella term to describe ideologies that
Oh,
have
all of that
critiques of
stuff.
civilization.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, it
I
falls
get
under
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of people think that post leftists are all anti civ or primi. That isn't the case. Bob Police Snitch Black, Wolfie Lance Slider. Oh fuck, I can't pronounce his last name, but and a few others have
Landslider.
critiqued Lance Slider. They have critiqued primitivism and anti-civ to a degree. There's also Cyber-Nihilism, which I briefly mentioned. That's like the exact opposite. It's more like a transhumanist sort of thing where you develop like mass technology. It's basically like using technology and accelerating it to such a point, because they agree. The thing is, they do agree with Amprims that technology is alienating. They just don't view that as like a bad thing. Like they view like the technology alienating oneself to the point where they're so alienated from others because they're just like that unique. They kind of like take the egoist Stoneright perspective that like we are the unique ones and nothing can particularly describe us. And even the word unique doesn't like properly describe how unique that we are. And
Oh my god, it's
that
alienating to the point of transcending.
yeah,
I
it's like
love it.
a identity. It's like an identity suicide, essentially. There's like a video you can watch. Just look up Cyber-Nihilism. It's like the first thing you'll see. That
Nice.
explains it more in detail. But yeah,
Link it.
that's
Fucking
considered
link it.
post left. Oh, I'll link it. I will.
Nice.
That's considered post left, and as by that definition, I'm sure you can see that's definitely not like anti-civ at all in any
Uh-huh.
sense, or primi or whatever.
Right.
I'm just gonna grab the link.
Okay.
Also, pest.
Really interesting.
Hopefully, the influx of views will get this guy to fucking upload again, because this is the only video he's uploaded, and it was really good, and I liked it. Can I post YouTube
Okay.
links? Oh, I can't post YouTube links.
Send it to me. I will link it in chat myself because I can because I'm a moderator.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. It's not letting me at all. I even put like spaces in there.
Yeah, link it in Discord. I will just post it. Okay, what is Cyber-Night? I think I remember the thumbnail to this video. I think you linked it some time ago.
Yeah, I've talked about this in
Remember
like
it.
casual conversations on Discord.
Yeah.
When talking about like a really obscure ideology.
Yeah, it's really cool. Dude, we have
Yeah, it's like,
I was expecting to have a very casual conversations about how we all fucked, but then we are fucked, but we dwelled deep into ideology and theory, and that's what the Bolshevik Bistro is all about. It's really fun to talk to you about all of this stuff. I think we covered everything, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered everything. So nice. Yeah, just to recap, we're all fucked. Act now, thanks.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You didn't need to listen to anything that we just did. Like,
you could have just taken that away.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
But I think it went well with delving into that sort of post-left side of things, which is definitely connected to anarcho-nihilism.
Yeah, this is great. And to finish it all off, I would also recommend a very fun video. I think I can play an audio to it in just a second. It's I can actually do that. 1 second, let me quickly hop on my Discord so I can quickly do that.
Get that soundboard up and running.
1 second. Where is this? Yes, this is the best. It's actually by Sam Hyde.
Oh.
And it's my favorite video of his. It's simply called "Who is John Corzine?" And the video will be also linked in the description. And it starts with basically people explaining how to kill people with a knife in the street. Is how it starts. And then it goes. It's really useful information. And then it goes into this. Can you please mute yourself for a second, Spooks, so that we won't destroy the ears of the people? Because
understandable.
Yeah, 1 second. And I will just show it to people. 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry for that.
The United Toilets of America. Hi, I'm Ken Lewis, former CEO of Bank of America. Here are some words you can use to describe me. Bulletproof, golden, untouchable, ironclad, godly. Together with my friends Chris Cox, John Corzine, Tim Geithner, Ben Bernanke, we're doing some really fucked up shit to the country, and you can't do a thing about it. That's right.
The shoe is untied.
You know what I hate about you little pussies? Everything.
Don't kill me with a knife. Don't knife me on the streets when I'm walking around Washington, D.C., because that's where you can find me. I have a house in Connecticut. I'm usually walking around the streets of Washington, D.C. Don't stab me with a knife. Don't do it. Don't kill me. Don't.
That's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to show you. Don't kill me in the street with a knife. Don't do it. Don't.
Please don't do
it. Please don't. I can walk around Washington, D.C. Don't do it.
I have a house in Connecticut.
I have a house in Connecticut. Don't do it. Don't kill me. Yeah, and I believe this is the most woke video somehow it has on his channel, and it's extremely nihilist. I love it. And like, this is, I will link it in chat and everywhere else. Please, and who is John Corzine? Who is he? Who is this man? Ask yourself this question. In the video, they have a really weird thing. Like, they say, "I know who Rihanna is, but who is John Corzine?" It's like, you know, we all know about the popular people, and we think they are important, but the most important people are those people who are literally killing us every day. You know, who are literally destroying our societies.
Stop letting them kill you, thanks. Don't be walked to your death. Don't be walked to your death like the people in the concentration camps. You gotta resist. It's either they put a bullet in your skull or you put a bullet in theirs. Take your pick.
That's a fine way to finish it all off. Thank you very much, people, for listening and watching to us. Thank you to Spooks and Shit for taking your time to discuss all of this stuff. It's really cool. I really loved it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right, people. If you have any questions or I forgot to link something, please leave a comment. And quick announcement, Radio Silence Podcast will be up on Sunday or Monday. And it will be about this year and what sort of stuff has happened this year, and we will be finishing the year in terms of politics, in terms of the leftist community, and we want to give back to the internet left, the internet left. So please tell us what were your favorite moments in this year on the political internet in the comment section, and like stuff like a debate, Sargon debate. It was extremely funny. Please, Finball, let me talk. Finball, shush. It was extremely fun. Anytime you gang was a fun thing that also happened, also connected to me. And like, please tell us your favorite moments. What?
What about that massive Bitcoin crash?
The Bitcoin
massive Bitcoin crash.
Yeah. So, what were your favorite leftist internet moments? Please leave a comment in the comment section, and we will discuss it. And yeah, thank you very much, Spooks. It was so cool. Thank you, chat, for really cool questions. Check out the links in the description, and we'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.